guys, so we're back with a new series which is going to be interviewing small business owners at all different stages and just asking different questions of like how they started and hopefully to help you guys out starting your own business or whatever stage you are at. So I'm here with Jennifer from All She Wrote. We are literally sitting in her boutique here in Chicago. So I'll let you kind of kick things off and just tell us a little bit more about your business and stage of business.
I'm Jennifer. I'm the owner of All She Wrote. The store has been located here on Armitage, on the corner of Armitage and Dayton in the heart of Lincoln Park since 2001, so for just over 20 years. I'm actually the third owner of the shop, and I've worked here for 7 years and I've owned the shop for just over 5. So I would say like the store is, well into their, has been around for a while. We're established. The store, the name, we're certainly established in the neighborhood. I still feel like a new business owner. I wonder when that feeling will fade, but yeah, so I'm 5 years in now, and we are a stationery and gift shop. We specialize in wedding invitations, personalized stationery, and really any sort of personalized gift, hostess gift, birthday gifts, celebrations in general.
And we'll do like closer up videos so you guys can see all of the cute stuff that they have, because I already have a few pieces that I'm like, I don't want to buy, like looking at this stuff. So you started out working here first, right? When you were...
I was the in-house graphic designer.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that part.
I was working with wedding clients, designing their wedding suites, and then just also doing a little bit of designing for the store as well. I was also, so I was like, that was part of I would say that was the main part of my job. And then of course I also worked physically in the store as a sales associate too.
And then what ended up happening?
So
got to owner.
About 2 years in to working here and working under Megan, the previous owner, she was not from Chicago, and she had just made the decision that she was going to move her family back to Florida, and so she offered, she wanted to know if me or the assistant manager at the time were interested in buying the store, and I was. So that all went very smoothly, and our manager had actually just retired kind of as Megan was making this decision. So it was very seamless transition between me buying the store for Megan and then promoting Katie to become manager, and we've been working together for 7 years, and it's a wonderful relationship. And I would have never even considered buying the store had I not had Katie, because she just was such a wonderful presence in the store, and I couldn't do what I do without her. So that made the decision much easier.
And just to know that you guys already have that.
We already had a solid team. Absolutely.
Oh, that's so good. Okay, so when you guys first started, someone just tried to open the door. No, it's such a cute shop. I feel like you can't help but want to come in. When you guys first started, did the owner do like physical and online?
When I bought the store, we obviously had this location, and our website was it was a little bit like a landing page. You could shop it. It was shoppable, but it didn't look shoppable, if that makes any sense. It really didn't look like it was. I knew it was shoppable, but I don't think the customers knew that it was shoppable. And that was certainly something like on my list from the start that I really wanted to get to.
Was that the first version that I saw before
Probably.
we redesigned
I think
it?
so, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think so.
Yeah.
There's so many things to do as a business owner that it kind of kept getting pushed to the back of the list. So it didn't end up being the first thing that I worked on. There were a few physical aspects of the store that I wanted to focus on first. Because online at that time didn't even seem that important to me, because people didn't shop us online, they didn't know that they could. And so it really was important to me to focus on what the boutique looked like physically, like in the moment for all of our in-store customers. So the website kind of got pushed to the back burner for a little bit.
Yeah, and I think that makes sense seeing how many people are like wanting to come in. You're like, yeah, we need to focus on physical here first. When we first started working together, you had already like worked through a rebrand.
I
with
did.
A different designer. And then we ended up working together on the website.
Yeah.
But like, what prompted the decision to rebrand? Because I think there's also other business owners that would be like, how do I tell like it's time?
Absolutely. Well, so actually when I came on board at All She Wrote in 2015, and the previous owner had just redone the logo, and I really liked the logo a lot. And I kind of worked on pushing out the brand a little bit more as the in-house designer. But when I became owner, and I was happy with everything for a while, but like eventually you're like, well, I want to put my own spin on it. So it was more about me wanting to put my own spin on things than feeling like it was necessarily needed. Which is what was the catalyst for the rebrand in general. But as I did that rebrand, I was like, 100% now is the time we need to start working on the website, because that's I think that is a huge way to show off your brand is through your website. So that's when I reached out to you, and we didn't know it at the time, but online sales were going to become very, very important because people weren't going to be able to shop in person for a while. So the timing of it couldn't have been, more
better.
perfect.
Right. It was like literally, I think it was right before, or the beginning of COVID, right?
So I redid the brand at the end of 2019. We did the rebrand at the end of 2019. Because I remember Katie and I were going to a show, and so we were planning out every single website, like the map, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
While we were like on the airplane, we were like, okay, what do we need, you know? And so we were doing that must have been February. So I think you started in March, and then we relaunched in, I think, May.
Yeah, I think so. I think that sounds right.
So, yeah.
No, okay, so that makes sense. Like, I feel like that's helpful for other people to also hear if they're buying like another store, or even if like they're inheriting it from their parents or something, to like want to put their own like spin on it or mark for the direction that they want to take the company. And it doesn't even have to be like something completely different. It's just like, just move it a little this way, and this is like where I want to go with
I also think like once you know your brand identity, making decisions becomes a lot easier. It really does. Like, it even helps me inform what I buy for the store. And I'm just like, oh, well, that's not our vibe, you know?
Right.
Like, it's really, like, you'll actually see, you won't see a lot of black in the store, because that's not one of our brand colors, and it feels very off-brand for us. Like, we're all about the blues and the pinks and the soft pastels and everything like that. So, and that's something silly, but it really does help me, even from like a buying standpoint, to just like stay on brand. But
color impacts so much of how you feel, and then the vibe that you're giving in the store to everyone that's walking in. How has it been comparing like online sales to physical in-store sales? I think you kind of have already like said, like physical, like there's so much traffic here, it's so important. But for somebody that's like starting their business, what would you recommend? Like, do online first, or like, if you have your eye on a physical store, snag it a physical location?
I think that's such a personal decision. You know, I was lucky enough to inherit this location, which is incredible. But someone else that you worked with, Allie, like, she wanted to make sure that there was an interest in like what she was doing before buying a physical location, which I think makes a lot of sense. So I don't know, that's a hard choice. And there are pros and cons to doing it either way. And I think like if there is a location that you're interested in and you can afford it, sure, like go for that. But I definitely think in a way, like a safer way to do it would maybe be to be online first.
How has it been like growing a team and expanding? Because I know you were saying that it was you and Katie, and so now there's more. How is that like hiring process been? You know,
it's definitely, it happens slowly, I think, honestly, because you have to make sure it's the right fit, which we've already talked about. And I think I've been very lucky that girls that we have hired part-time as like weekend sales associates, we've just been able to develop such an amazing relationship, and like their strengths start to come out, and like you see other ways that they could be working for you. So like one of the girls that started with me as a weekend sales associate is now our e-commerce manager, you know. Another girl is our social media coordinator. And these all happened slowly and organically, and like we were just able to get to know each other and really know that it was a good fit before kind of promoting them to those next things. And then we also had to hire 2 full-time sales associates recently, and that took a while. It really did, like, to find the right people. It's a small team, and you have to make sure that you're gonna vibe and get along well. And I mean, you're working in this small space with a small team every day.
Right.
So personalities need to click. Don't be afraid to take your time. It's so much better to wait for the right fit than to try to make something work.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly like we were talking about before, just like finding the right person that you know that you can do day-to-day business with, you know? Yeah. And then I know you're a new mom, right? Relatively new, 1-year-old. So how is like work-life balance? I know it's like, it's very elusive. We all like talk about it. It's hard to get.
It is. It is so elusive, because it's like some days I'm like, ooh, I was a really good mom today. And then the other days I'm like, oh, I was a great business owner today. I don't feel like those happen on the same day all the time. So, you know, as I said to you earlier, like between COVID and then becoming a mom, my priorities shifted in the last 2 years. And that in and of itself is like just a huge change, and like, whoa, because this store was my baby for so long, you know? Yeah. So now I'm kind of being pulled in other directions. And I will say that I think the only way that I was able to make this work was having the right team in place at the store that I trusted, that I could step away. And like, I'm forever grateful for Katie and the other girls that work at the store to like allow me to do that.
So you got to take a full maternity
I did.
leave?
I took a full maternity leave. I mean, I took a full maternity leave. You're always thinking about your business, and like you're just always thinking. You can't help it.
Yeah. Are you here working every day now? Like, are you physical in store? Do you get weekends?
I get weekends. Weekends.
I'm working like crazy, and I don't even have a kid, so
no,
I can't imagine.
I feel like, I think when I got pregnant with Jack, I think it was around year 4 of owning the store. I was like, all right, I'm ready to step back from weekends a little bit. Like, so we had the support that I could do that, which was great. I try to work Monday through Thursday. I do work at home a lot. I love being in the store. So every time I come into the store and I spend the day here, I'm like, God, why don't I do this every day? You know? So I'm still trying to find that balance of like where I do my best work, or where I enjoy working the most too. So, because I do find myself being a little more productive at home, because I don't have the distractions here. I'm not interacting with customers if I'm at home and everything like that. So, but I love being here. I love the energy, and I want to be a part of it, you know? So again, I'm just trying to find that balance, and I hope that leads me kind of back in the store a little more every day.
Yeah, no, I completely understand you. Like, I hope one day to have a physical like design studio and stuff. Yeah, it's like seriously like eventually in the future, I think it would be so cool to have. But I also know like being with a whole bunch of other people, as enjoyable as it can be, it's not always the most productive. Sometimes you like lock yourself in a room and just like get work done type of thing.
Yeah, Katie and I are just little chatterboxes.
But sometimes it makes like the best ideas.
True, it does.
Well, I wanted to ask one question that I'm sure that new owners will be thinking in getting started is like, where do you buy stuff from? Like, do you go to a market? Do you reach out to individual brands? Like, for somebody just starting out?
Well, definitely markets. Like going to physical shows in person is huge, because not only do you get to see the product that you're buying, but you get to speak to the people that are creating it. So you learn so much, and you also get to see like how they're displaying it. And I don't know. I think like that really gets your creativity going. There is a wonderful wholesale online market called Fair.
Yeah,
Huge, and that's relatively new. It's a couple years old. I have loved that so much because for me, it is so incredible to be able to make multiple carts and then just check out like them all at the same time. And I also think they have some really great benefits like payment schedule, and like they do zip code protection, which I think is great. For a lot of brands will offer that. So that basically means that if I'm selling something, the store down the street is not allowed to sell it. So,
that's
yeah,
so good.
and not every
that.
brand will do that. And it's okay if they don't, but it is nice to have that on a few things that it makes it a little more special that you carry this and somebody else doesn't.
Right.
So I love Fair. I love going to markets. There are markets for all different types of industries. I go to New York twice a year for New York Now, Shop Object, and then I try to go to Atlanta once to twice a year they have these crazy gift shows, usually in January and July. And then there are some that are in Vegas and San Francisco. I haven't been to them, but I have no interest in going to the Vegas one, but I would like to go out to San Francisco. They have one out there sometimes called Noted, and it's more about greeting cards and everything. So there used to be a national stationery show, but they unfortunately, sadly, do not do that anymore.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, but that's so helpful to know that like physical is probably like Fair is good, but also physical to be able to meet people. I think networking is also such
it's
a big
great for your vendors
too.
to get to put like a face to your name, just as it is for you. So yeah, I definitely. And that's where you see the new stuff. Like it's important to be in the loop on all of that. You know,
if you could do anything different, would you? Like if you were gonna start from scratch, is there something you would do different in your like trajectory?
Well, I will say, if I was starting from scratch, I think the most exciting part about that would be actually getting to just have free range over what the store physically looks like. And it's like everyone is so kind when they come in, you know, family, friends, strangers, whatever. They're very, very sweet about the store. But as the owner, I see all the imperfections. So to be able to design my own store, I mean, that would be like a dream come true.
Yeah.
As opposed to like making do with what I have, you know what I mean?
And like revamping and stuff. Yeah, no, I get you.
So that would be amazing. I would have prioritized a rebrand and a website redesign sooner. I mean, I'm happy that it happened.
Yeah,
absolutely. But I had already owned the store for 3 years by the time we did that. So I think I probably would have focused on that a little bit sooner.
Yeah. Okay.
I really would have.
Sounds good. So then, what's next for like Allshiro's? Do you have like future plans or things you're doing?
Well, yeah, you and I are talking already. I mean, there are website improvements we want to make. I think that's something we'll always be tinkering with. And oh gosh, that's such a good question. I would love to work on the physical aspects of the store. We have an office that I have not figured out what the purpose of it is yet. You know what I mean? I don't know if it's like our shipping headquarters. I don't know if we're gonna move to have our stationery meetings in the back over there. So I've got to figure that out for sure. That's probably high up on my list for this year. And I was talking about with Katie, like I just want this to become a well-oiled machine. You know, I think we're getting there, but I just think a few tweaks in like our productivity or just how we run things is going to make a big difference to us. And a part of that is, I think part of that is we need to figure out how we're kind of running the online store, you know, now that we have it. Like we're getting a lot more orders via online now, which we never had before. So that's opened up this whole other world of like, you know, shipping and packaging and advertising and all of that. So we have to figure that out. Sure.
I feel like that's like a middle stage of business where it's like, okay, everything is up and everything's operational, but how can we refine processes just to like make it easier for everyone where we're not having to rethink this each time we do it? What advice would you give any other business owner that's like just starting out?
Yeah, I I personally think my advice would be to talk to other business owners. I really do.
Yeah.
I think that, and it doesn't matter if they're in the same business as you, you know, because you're going to have such similar experiences regardless if you're selling stationery or clothing or jewelry. You're gonna have some of the same issues, some of the same obstacles, some of the same like achievements, and there's a few reasons why I love talking to other business owners. It's because it's really nice to feel like seen. You're like, oh my God, yes, I know exactly what you're talking about. So that feels great. I think you learn a lot from someone else. And I personally, I feel like I get really like reinvigorated when I speak to another business owner. It like makes me fall in love with what I'm doing all over again. And I think it's just nice to have somebody to talk to that has an idea of what you're going through, especially if you're starting out. So I would say to try to, you know, maybe get a mentor, or if it's not a mentor, then just a peer that you can chat with and get together with, you know, occasionally to just discuss.
Do like regular coffee dates and stuff, just meet up and like, how are you solving these problems?
I've so enjoyed any other business owner that like I have been able to sit down and chat with. And I think that I could do a little bit more of that too, even as time. My advice for a new business owner, but it would also say like be sure to continue that and like foster those relationships. Okay, that sounds so good. Thank you so much for chatting, and I'm so stoked to be able to like be physically like in your store. Like I was just excited to meet you in person.
I know, and just
so
to like
silly and weird.
Yeah, I know. It's been like a long time coming, and I'm just excited to be here. Okay. Thank you so much, guys. If you like this video, like it below, or if you loved watching this video, hit the like button below and subscribe to see more. We are going to be interviewing Katie from Boutique next. And subscribe, follow, and we hope you have a great day.